Is it even possible to create content on the internet and not have a big ego? Or would you say it's a requirement? I think the Democrats could do a much better job of working with the egos in the independent media space, for sure. I think one of the big problem with Democrats is that they refuse to talk to independent media. They only talk to legacy media. And for that reason, people in independent media feel like they're out on their own. If I was a right-winger with exactly the same level of influence, I would be fighting off like emails every single day from not only like right-wing sponsorships, like, I don't know, Black Rifle Coffee or whatever, but also opportunities to collaborate or add perspective or whatever. They are everywhere. Like right-wing, there is no right-wing independent media apparatus because all of them, except for the most crazy, end up getting folded into actual political movements. Like Sargon of Akkad ended up joining it with Brexit. Obviously, we see what happened with Charlie Kirk. I can't even think of any counterexamples. It's basically every single so-called independent right-wing media guy. Like all the Daily Wire people obviously are like directly connected to the MAGA movement, you know? Nick Fuentes probably would be if it wasn't for his insistence on building out like his own little cult. Right-wing Vaush would have met Trump by now. That is probably literally correct. That is probably literally true. Yeah. I see what you mean, but if you're like just starting off, should you inflate your ego to make content creation work? It's not a matter of it's just a consequence of a bunch of people telling you you're smart every day. There's nothing you can do about it. You can be like performatively humble and you can try to moderate your behavior, but yeah, obviously. Also, it's kind of necessary. Most people, if you don't have like a well-developed, like at the very least, very strong, like, you know, self-confidence, you can't do the YouTubing game in politics because you'll just get really upset and cry. It's not even like a braggadocious thing or anything. It is literally just a consequence of the kind of attention that you get. Did you see how low Kamala's numbers were during the Call Me Daddy podcast? If I remember correctly, it was barely 500,000. Yeesh. Okay, well, I didn't even know what the Call Me Daddy podcast was, but you know, I hadn't even heard of it prior to the thing. I get that was like the only independent media pick that she got. That's true, Alec Gunther. Or at the very least, you have to have a good system for engaging with the criticism, you know? What a great use of 100K. I think it was more than 100K, wasn't it? She was also on Dr. Mike. She also talked to Charlemagne the God, I think. I mean, of course she's going to be awkward. The whole point of a podcast is to be like informal and casual, right? It's not like legacy media. So she's going to do the same stiff, you know, like stump speech that she gives everywhere else. Not even just like regular independent media. How much communication is there between people like Jon Stewart and John Oliver and the Democrats? Because if there were right-wing, semi-independent comedian pundit whatevers with that level of prominence, they would be like directly working with the GOP on talking points. I'm not saying that Jon Stewart and John Oliver should cuck out and just listen to the DNC or whatever. I'm saying the DNC should be coming to them. You know, the DNC should be like, hey, you know, please. But the Democrats don't value any of that. They don't see the value in media outside of that. They think that people will like watch MSNBC. It is true the DNC probably wouldn't let John Oliver talk about Gaza. Democrats do go on Stephen Colbert. Don't know if that counts. Pete Buttigieg was on Hassan Minhaj's comedy show. Yeah, but like even that, like what are the numbers these shows get compared to what the right wing gets with like Joe Rogan or something, you know? And it's still Pete Buttigieg. This, you mean the Secretary of Transportation? Like, you know, like what are we talking about here? Donald Trump went on, like, met with a bunch of people. Donald Trump met with fucking Aiden Ross. I mean, I guess like part of the issue really is that Donald Trump is interesting, so people will tune in to watch him, and Kamala Harris wasn't interesting, so no one gives a shit, you know? The most that you're going to see from Kamala Harris is watch her, and then you'll go, oh, she did a good job there or something. There's nothing really to talk about. Like, what's the point of watching Kamala Harris? Donald Trump is interesting, you know? Kyle Kulinski was right, man. You got to be controversial or no one's going to pay attention. Yeah, but they don't use any of those options. That makes dizzy. My boomer-ass mom still watches cable. That's crazy. I see politicians on Seth Meyers fairly often. Yeah, but no one gives a fuck about Seth Meyers. That's the thing. And again, like Aiden Ross, XQC, like late night with Seth Meyers. So you're watching TV that late. It's always TV. The reason I mentioned Jon Stewart and John Oliver is because both of them publish their segments online to a lot of attention. No one gives a fuck about Seth Meyers. If you're up late watching Seth Meyers, you're already it's all TV. It's TV, TV, TV. No one's watching NBC. No one gives a shit. Democrats need to get the fuck off the TV. No one cares. New requirement. You don't get to be a DNC consultant unless the only media you consume is YouTube Shorts and TikToks. Maybe Instagram, okay? Get the fuck off the TV. You have these like 63-year-old boomer-ass consultants who are like, you know what'll really cement us this election? Going on Late Night with Seth Meyers. Late Night with Seth Meyers doesn't even have 500,000 Twitter followers. The most recent clip posted on Late Night with Seth Meyers' Twitter account, a clip from the show 1 hour ago, has 50 likes. Totally disconnected from... I'm not even saying the show's bad. I've just never seen it. It's a late night NBC show. Well, now I feel that maybe it's good and I don't even know. You know, I don't want to insult Seth Meyers. I've never even seen Seth Meyers, so I don't, you know. Remember a few weeks before the election when Bernie got in a Twitch stream with Saikuno and Valkyrie or whoever it was? Bernie does lots and lots and lots of media appearances, even now. Seth Meyers not very interesting. Okay. Even now, Bernie does like a wide variety of media appearances. He talks to a lot of people, and he's like 100,000 years old, you know? Kamala on a Gargura stream would have flipped the election. True. Fucking Kamala Harris VTuber Hoyaverse collab? That would have gone so hard. Bunch of greasy-ass motherfuckers turning up to their local polling booths. Well, am I tired? The other problem, and this is like a fundamental issue that is really difficult to deal with, is that Kamala Harris is fucking boring, okay? Let me put it this way, okay? Imagine I wasn't a lefty, and I was just a liberal, or a progressive liberal. If I had Kamala Harris on, what the fuck would I talk about? Genuinely. Can you think of any question that I could ask her that wouldn't be me criticizing her? Like, what could I ask her that would be helpful to the election, that would be interesting? It's you can't. You can come up with joke answers, but you can't. In reality, all I could really say is stuff like, you know, I could prompt her to give answers, but the answers would always be like, I'm going to represent all Americans. I grew up in a middle-class family, such and such, you know? She's not interesting. If I had Donald Trump on and I was right-wing and I wanted to help him win the election, I could talk about him about literally anything. I could pull up like Elden Ring on my computer and I could be like, hey, Mr. President, you ever played this? And he'd be like, no, I don't know what that is. Are you the guy right there? And I'd be like, okay, so how do you feel about this guy? All right, here's the final boss. How do you think you could play this? Mr. Trump, give it a shot, you know? And he could play. You could just ad-lib anything with him because he's a genuinely entertaining person who's present socially. Kamala Harris just has the consultant speak bullshit. So how do you engage with that outside of legacy media? In legacy media, you know, in legacy media, oftentimes before an interview with someone like Kamala Harris, they'll vet the questions beforehand. Very often. You don't have to do that with Trump. Trump talked about doing coke with Theo Vaughn. Kamala would never. Yeah, it's just, oh, he's very big. Looks like a powerful guy. I'd hire him. Yeah, Trump seeing Radon. Oh, that's a big one. Where's his legs? He's got little stump legs. He's on a little horse. He's just riding that horse around. How's that horse holding him up? And then I explain like Leonard survives due to gravity magic. And he's like, oh, he's got gravity magic. Is that how he holds the star? Is that why they call him Star Scourge Radon? I'd like to hire that guy. Yeah, I don't know. Legacy media not coordinating to block that pre-vetted question shit is what killed everything, Vaush. The old guard of the Washington Post from the 60s rolling in their graves. Yeah, and the cowardice is really biting us in the ass now because people like Donald Trump, you know, don't even need it because they just go on sympathetic media outlets. Artemy, why are you so attention hungry? Can I help you? I don't have to pre-vet my questions with you because you don't speak English. You just speak cat. He's purring. I don't think you can hear it, though. We could have Radon for Secretary of Defense. Yeah, with Radon as Secretary of Defense, we could actually put troops on the ground in the Donbass because when Russia fires the nukes, he could just hold all of them in the sky. Nuke Scourge Radon, you know? That's actually really cool. That's actually really cool. Just a bunch of ICBMs floating above DC. I don't know if you saw the story, but Kamala Harris went on. You do know that emote is supposed to be about dropping truth bombs and not literally just meant to represent the use of any explosion, right? I'm going to unironically remove that emote. It's called Truth Nuke, not like explosion.png. I'm going to remove that emote later. I've never seen anyone use that right. I hate all of you. It's too ambiguous. I can't trust you guys with it. It's a double meaning. It's not a double meaning. Yeah, use it now while you can. Kamala Harris went on the comedy show with a Muslim host and tried to debate him on the culinary benefits of bacon. In fairness, that is something that Donald Trump would do. Bacon do be having culinary benefits, I suppose. Yeah, like if you're on the keto diet. I love being able to eat like a stick of butter, but not an apple. Bacon is terrible no matter how it's cooked. I don't even want to defend bacon because defending bacon is so fucking Reddit. There's that period of time online where you couldn't, like every 5 minutes on the internet, someone would make a late epic bacon joke, or like, what if we added bacon to it, or whatever. Yeah, 2012. It was horrible. Bacon's not that good. Like, it's good, but lots of things are good. It's crazy. No one's soying out over that like a nice, you know, a nice creme brulee or something. Those are pretty tasty. Epic Mealtime has entered the chat. Yeah, well, I don't hate them. I don't hate them for it. I don't hate them for it. Vaush is more like add beans and rice to it. I mean, beans and rice are pretty good, yeah. I'll stand by that.